Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today's Sunday, the 22nd of November, 2020, and a lot of updates from states on restrictions, coronavirus, holiday Thanksgiving restrictions, including New Jersey and New York. We knew about New York, Governor Cuomo. I just call the guy Governor Idiot at this point. About 3 or 4 days ago, a bunch of his New York sheriffs, including a congressman, I believe from Staten Island, said they're going to refuse to enforce his holiday Thanksgiving restrictions, which if you didn't read, it was in the other video, I'll link it. But you can't have more than 10 people or other households coming into your house, and they wanted to see, places with parked cars, sheriffs driving in there, knocking on the doors, issuing fines or arresting people. And the sheriffs were like, we're not going to do it. There's just no way we're going to do it. In fact, today, even, just across the river in New Jersey, New Jersey's governor's draconian coronavirus order limiting holiday gatherings won't be enforced, says the police chief. He says, I'm not going to have my police officers knocking on doors, ruining somebody's holiday. So this is in Howe Township Police Chief Andrew Kudrick. I think that's his name. Always butcher names, but this is Murphy, a Democrat, has called for a 10-person limit for household gatherings. That's their governor, Governor Murphy of New Jersey. Our community is hurting. I live here. I grew up here. I shop here. I go out to dinner here, and I talk one-on-one with business owners, and I see how much they're hurting, says the sheriff. So as a police chief in charge of 100-plus police officers, I felt it was incumbent upon me just to let them know, my community know, that we're not going to enforce some of these executive orders that I feel are draconian. This is Governor Phil Murphy putting out those orders. Kudrick says he will not have his police staff used to go door to door to enforce these restrictions, especially since political activities have been exempt from the order. There you go. Rules for you, but not for us. He's right. When we're hurting in society, our friends and families are the ones that provide us, lift us up, and I wasn't going to have my police officers knocking on doors to ruin the holiday. The police chief also issued a public memo on Thursday night stating his department will not respond to complaints about gathering limits, social distancing, or face mask compliances unless it's an egregious violation like violence. So 2 people arguing about a mask, getting a fight, they might respond. Otherwise, don't bother. I feel we should not be used as a police force to carry out these orders. They're detrimental to our relationship with our community. It puts us in a no-win predicament, such as being called out for social distancing or mask complaints, he said. Although justified in our enforcement, the perception will be the opposite in the public view. He's right. The public is not going to take to this well. Somebody knocks on your door and tells you people have to go home, or giving you a fine for too many people in your house, likely to be violence against the police for that, I assure you. I'm not encouraging it, but I'm telling you that's what will happen. PA saying that they're not going to pull over out-of-state drivers who come into the state. They're not going to ask you about your status and your testing when you get off of an airplane. I call BS because they were doing that previously. And then after these New York sheriffs, other sheriffs, that was New Jersey, after the New York sheriff said they're not going to implement this, in fact, all the way over in California, Gavin Newsom, who is like right along that little squad of governors who thinks they're just going to do whatever they want, Democratic governors, mind you, they also said in California, police chiefs saying we're not going to enforce it. But in his own state of New York, after they told him they weren't going to enforce it, the governor came back and said, I don't believe as law enforcement officers you get to pick and choose which laws you enforce. My advice on Thanksgiving is don't be a turkey. The guy thinks he's some comedian. He's actually a joke. And if they vote him back in, shame on New York and they get what they deserve. But of course, that's how they vote. The politician announced last week that indoor get-togethers limited to under 10 people during the holidays, and at least 4 sheriff's offices in Erie, Fulton, Saratoga, and Washington County said they would not enforce the rules. I believe those are upstate North New York. Somebody can correct me on that if I'm wrong. With regard to the Thanksgiving executive order, the Fulton County Sheriff's Office will not be enforcing this against our residents. Frankly, I'm not sure it could sustain a constitutional challenge in court for several reasons, including your house is your castle. Of course, it can't sustain a constitutional upheaval in a court, but nobody's challenging this. Nobody will fight, and if they do, you'll end up with some Democratic, Cuomo-loving, Biden-loving judge who will shoot you down. It is not constitutional to knock on somebody's door and demand that people leave. They cannot do it. They know they can't. Erie County Sheriff Timmy Howard said that he would not send out deputies to look for the great tradition of Thanksgiving dinners to be broken up. Told people in his county to follow your heart, act responsibly. What people do inside of their own homes is beyond our jurisdiction, obviously. In fact, a lot of people don't know this. When a police officer knocks on your door, you are not even required by law to answer the door. They can demand you open the door. They can beat on your door until kingdom come, and you can walk to the door and tell them to piss off and leave. They can't. They have to have a warrant to come in your house. That's just the law. And to them to knock on the door and say, you have too many people, you can open the door for them and say, what's up? You have more than 10 people? Nope. Have a great night. And shut the door in their face. Literally. I'm not encouraging it, but I'm just telling you that's how it works, and they can't do this. They cannot, but they're going to do it. Trust me, they will get away with it because there are people that are scared. We urge everyone to be smart and act responsibly. We know this makes people unhappy, but better unhappy than sick or worse, the governor says. And that's it. See, they use that fear. Well, wouldn't you rather just miss a holiday than just be sick and die? It's fear mongering. It's the definition laid out in front of you. New York not alone on its rules. New Jersey, Connecticut, California. Look, all governors, all Democratic governors. Michigan has banned, another Democratic governor. Michigan has banned indoor gatherings of more than 2 households, while Vermont and Washington State have barred indoor gatherings absolute. Only outdoor immediate households may gather. You can't even go inside of your own house in Washington and Vermont. 2 more Democratic governors. Do you see the pattern here? You don't see Florida or Alabama or Mississippi or Nebraska or Iowa. You don't see any of these states doing this. No, it's all these Democratic governors that are power tripped that think they can just do whatever they want. Telling you can't even have anybody inside your house. You're only allowed to stand outside. Are they out of their mind? Anybody who thinks that this is okay just don't even talk. Don't even comment if you think this is okay. All right, anyway, so that's the update on the restrictions. That other video I'm linking has all 50 states. It updates day by day with any of these ridiculous updates and restrictions they put into place. Of course, we also had the picture of all the store shelves getting cleared out. It's getting worse. Please don't panic buy, but if you don't, and you try to be the good guy and don't buy stuff, then you end up on the short end of the stick where you don't have toilet paper, you don't have bread, or you don't have whatever is out at that time. So it's like a no-win, catch-22. What do? Do you go ahead and panic buy like everyone else is and make sure you're good to go, or do you just wait around and hope for the best? Florida's not going to shut down where I live. I think we'll be okay, but we're still out. So if you live in one of these states that is shutting down, you're going to be in bad shape. I would say just go ahead and pick up as much as you can, and it's probably only going to get worse in 2 months when somebody takes office. So there you go. I'll link this story along with the news story for what I just mentioned below. Hopefully you enjoy it. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday, and I'll see you guys later this week.